You know, so maybe I could be like, let's partner and. Yeah. I put you in, and.
Because I really think we have in common, like we've worked with Sam last summer.
Yeah.
And I think that.
It's very honest, straightforward, laid back. I think we'll be really good.
Yeah, like I can't recall, I guess there was like a power outage last summer and we had the inspector coming that day. It was very like, hey, Chris.
How much do you think is everything? What is on the menu? I think. No.
Yeah, I think that's his,
No, that's not me. No, you wouldn't. I don't think.
he's very much,
And it was like the letter.
more reserved.
He's very reserved, but I think though, if he had the right word for his personality, is, you know, like, well, and his knowledge. Like, so he called me about my IMF, had this under contract, but when I looked at it, he was like, hey, I'm trying to call you. I know about that turn there really sharp, and I'm just concerned because I have a later, then he's like, I'm shooting like 3 things to look into, and I'm like, next time I look in, but I was calling him, I was listening to her say, and I try to like that part of it, and I do like it. Yeah, it's fun to say that I found out, because I listened to it. Yeah, listening to the household, and like, so they have. That's right. If I do all of that.
Yeah, so I don't I have the same way.
Sorry, Darren.
The only time that I get materials. Yeah.
So this is I can't, other than him, I have no. So which like, I can grasp like my brain, because I really love like that word. I don't really, I need also, and then I'm like, whatever. I just like, and I get it that, like, because I'm not saying, I'm like, I don't know. She's not, so I don't think I like a whole process anyway then. Yeah, so. I am thinking.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, you know, I was wondering, like, you know, it's like.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
So they also have like. Like the size. They have like a. But I like that they all have 6 months.
It is 12 o'clock. We are going to go ahead and get started. Today's class was actually inspired by a small group. Karen was there, and Janet Foster was there. Angie may have been there. Kristen may have been there, I'm not sure. We had a small group, and Karen talked about how helpful her 411 has been. And there's multiple ways to use that system. So it starts kind of an entire revamp of today's class. So hope you like it. Brand new feedback is very much welcome. I think Adrian's QR code is up there, so before you leave today, I will remind you, but definitely give us feedback on the value that was provided today, so we know what we need to do better at. and what we just need to double. So again, today's class isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things with more clarity and less chaos. Oftentimes we feel like we have to do more and more and more, and we forget to stop doing some other things in order to make it meaningful the more. And in our industry, we get so many great ideas from everyone, and it's very easy to get sidetracked. So today we're gonna get some clarity. But before we do that, we're gonna play a quick icebreaker, and I call it Guess the System. So I am going to just say a line, and you are gonna shout out what system you think I am referring to. So the first one is turn left, 500 feet. Google Maps. Google Maps. Mix flour, sugar, and eggs. Recipe. Hey, add to calendar. Theory, Alexa, and a little notification that says time to stand. Apple Watch. So it's funny, we use systems every day, sometimes in the smallest of forms. We don't even realize it, like a recipe that has grandma's handwriting on an index card. That is a system, so that way you can create the same dish that grandma used to bake you when you were younger. And yet in business, we oftentimes resist the systems. How many of you resist systems? I can pick on Amy because her and I are friends, so no.
All the things you just put together.
In order to get this, I had to promise you this wasn't a time blocking class, or it would have been empty. But not going. All right, so this is my best, I'm not a drawer. But I want you to pretend that this is a bowling alley. And I want you to pretend this is a ping pong table. And with ping pong tables, most of it is straight up luck. Like you hit the button and the ball just randomly pings everywhere. And sometimes you win, but then sometimes you lose. And there's really not much skill other than you just like mad pressing on the side.
Pinball.
Yeah,
Pinball.
what did I call it?
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The arcade game. The arcade game. Whereas when you go bowling, you have a lot more control. There's skill, there's strategy, there's system. And ideally, every single time, the bowling ball is going in this direction, the direction of the pins. Sometimes we feel forward and it goes off to the side. But ultimately, if you're throwing the ball towards the pin, you're gonna knock down a pin. That makes sense? So which one do you feel like your business feels like right now? Are you a bowling alley? Or are you a ping pong? What is it? Pinball. Pinball. I need to write it. Pinball. Even in my notes, I have ping pong. Well, first class. So today's goal is to help you get more guided energy, so your business become more like a bowling alley. Stay in your lane. Every day that you're doing activities, those activities are getting you one step closer to your end result, which is your goal. So your first handout, well, we didn't hand them out in order. One of your handouts is what's called the Delegate and Elevate exercise.
I need this number.
You do.
You have 4 quadrants.
Writing, if you see me come around shooting video, it's because we're trying to recruit, okay?
We are trying to grow. So what I want you to do, and I want you to take these exercises and spend more time outside of today's class, but take a couple minutes. And I want you to fill out some activities. You can look at your calendar or just kind of reflect on the last week. What are some things you've been doing? And it can be business or personal. Whether you've been mowing, cleaning, are you showing houses? Are you going on listing appointments? Are you driving 2 hours away from an appointment that maybe you shouldn't have taken, you should have referred it to somebody? Kind of laundry list in your head. And you're gonna separate it to things that you love to do, like they bring you joy, they fill your cup, and you're really good at them. That's kind of your genius zone. This column here, I kind of face more like what you like to do it, you're good at it, you're confident. Down here are like your two frustration zones and time zones. You're not great at it and you hate it. Maybe you're good at it, but you just don't like to do it. That makes sense? I think I did these two backwards. So go ahead and just jot a couple things down. Oh, my God. Got the fancy 90s and stuff.
Anyone need a pen?
Oh, thank you.
My pen's good.
I like organizing. Yeah, I know my closet. Oh my God, I would love to do that. I like being. If it's mine, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but it is more, it is satisfying.
Yes, I feel so good at that. I don't know. I like it. And you want to get everything and I will order that. I do not want to have done very much to me, but if you want to get on. I love I'm walking. They don't know what he said. Yeah, I have trouble creating people trying to like say that I'm gonna be correct, like I have like a high level system, like get that function for you. It was turning on a, also on right, I'm not here. All that again. Yeah. If you don't, and it, I feel like, I'm using this awesome app.
Give it 2 more minutes.
Right, it's.
It's worth it. It's a shout out. I think it's just a shout away. Shout away.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just a shout away.
It's a shot away.
I think it's about, get on more. Yeah. Let me look it up.
Oh, we can have.
It was me and it was Karen, and they're like 2 of us, and we were like, what are you doing? We're talking about fun, and I was not like, it was right, see, most people seem to be done with right. So this is Sharon's house. Where do you feel like after writing down some stuff, if you're still working, go ahead. Where do you feel like you're spending most of your time right now? Are they in activities that are moving the needle forward, or are you spending a lot of time on things that frustrate you or feel like time losers?
I think I'm in the don't like and good at.
Okay,
A lot.
okay.
That's where I'm hanging out.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of stuff right now that I don't like to do, but like I'm good at it, and that's probably why it keeps coming on my plate. And I need to either hire someone or I need to tell people, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm spending a lot of my time there. How about you?
I feel like I'm probably there too. I know what I love to do. I feel like I'm stuck in other places because it is, like you said, the leverage isn't, I haven't created the leverage or the, whatever that looks like. It could be partner, it could be admin, it could be precision, it could be whatever. And feeling that the pressure exists in the things, in the back end to be able to sustain the things that I want to do. So I almost feel like it's not necessarily something that, like, I think the pressure is more like the mental pressure to stay there, and that kind of holds me there.
Okay,
That makes sense.
no, that's perfect. That makes perfect sense. Anybody else?
Sure. I line with that, and I think one of the things I've been trying to cast off is thinking I'm the only one that can get it done.
There you go.
If you want it done right, do it yourself.
Yeah.
I had that personal life, I had that in personal business, I had partners, and it's just like, I'm gonna, stick it in, I gotta get it done, because they're not gonna do it.
Mhm.
And I think we're wrong, about 50% of the time. About trusting them
Oh, for sure.
or making them wrong.
And sometimes that means letting them go forward. Like letting them do it and maybe making a mistake or two so they can learn how to do it better. Right? Yeah.
And it's really about a lot of, I've experienced their priority system. They're actually better than I am in it. They don't see it. They don't want to acknowledge it. And they just go, it's easier just to say not for them. Just you do it. Right? Super.
No, I love that. So what are some things that you can do to offload stuff in these bottom two quadrants? Now, keep in mind, there are times of business where you have to do these until you grow to a certain level where you can then hire a person or afford a system. But what are some things that you think you could do to remove some of these items so you can spend more time up here? We go Heather first.
So, more recently, with my husband, like, he's really good at, he loves tech, computer guy, like, he loves that. And so AI and all of those, finding those tools. So we actually spent our Saturday going through and planning and mapping out all of the social media for how I want it to look in realtor and personal, and then how, like, the specific details, and then what time of day and what days of the week. So that way I can map it out for each month ahead of time, and then he's going to help me create as we go along, depending on the schedules of everybody doing that week or that next month, like who can do what. And then putting templates in place so I don't have to recreate a post every time. It's just putting you in the routine.
I love that. So I think I heard AI templates. What am I gonna say?
And like I leverage another person to help me with the creating.
People. Okay, what else could you do?
I was gonna say, going off of Heather, like, I was trying to figure out my processes, like we've kind of talked about, and I bounced it off of Kyle, and I was like, here's what I feel like I'm, not doing right, here's what I feel like where I wanna get to. What kind of ideas do you have to help? Like, I know where I'm at, like, I'm a week and a half ahead of time, but like, I wanna be more, so that way I'm not feel like I'm sitting on my heels all the time, and like, we're bouncing each other. He's like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, because he's very good at processes and scheduling and things like that, because he's like, you just gotta do it, like, you just have to get it done and take these steps, and he's like, plan out your calendar for a month ahead of time, and he's like, it might not be, you might say, here's what Monday's training, Tuesday's this, and then he's like, then take the next day and take one day per client, take one day and just schedule everything out for the next month. And he's like, then you have it all done. And then you're not sitting here until 10 o'clock at night, sometimes working and overwhelming yourself with what you have to do for maybe the next day.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
love that.
leveraging people and people
Yeah,
who might be doing it better.
collaborating that
Yeah.
you did. What came to my mind too is sometimes it's hiring a coach,
Mhm.
like who's done it before you at a high level that can help you. And honestly, sometimes when you pay for this, like this is free. So oftentimes when people meet with me, like they're like, yeah, your idea is great. And like some will implement, some won't, but then the people that don't, what I find is when they hire a coach and they're paying the money for it, then they actually do it. A little bit more accountability, so it just depends on what you need. Anything else that could help you get out of those bottom two quadrants?
Automation,
Automation.
like in our CRMs, like setting up those,
Like smart plans.
smart plans, yeah.
And people, I want to come back to that for a second. It doesn't always mean like hiring a full-time admin. Like sometimes when people say people, they mean, oh, I don't wanna be a boss, they think it means hiring employees. You might get there, that might be a step, but it might be hiring a leverage company. It might be just paying an intern to do a one-off project. Fiverr is great for those one-offs. Just collaborating in small groups. So sometimes when I write people, they automatically think I need to hire a full-time staff employee with benefits. Very scary.
When I was added to like automation, it's not just for like things like personal, we started just ordering all our groceries, the majority of our groceries online through, and going and picking them up, so it eliminates the time in the store and also eliminates the extra people.
I put that down in great/love. I hired a cleaning lady a long time ago. And it's been the best thing
It is
ever.
the best.
One less thing we have to think about, because I'm not good at it.
I love that. What about if you just stop doing it? Is there anything on your list that you could stop doing and no one would notice or miss? Yeah, there's probably, if you dig deep, I want you in the next like 48 hours, think about that question. And as you're doing things, kind of ask yourself that, like, if I stopped doing this, so I'm gonna give a really basic example, but it drove me up a wall. So Ben never wears match socks. Like he'll wear a brown sock and a black sock. I mean, I'm grateful that he just wears the same ones. Like they never match. And so when I would do his laundry, I would spend all this time matching socks. So much time. And I'd have to go back into his drawer to sometimes find the match because he didn't wear the right sock. And then finally one day I'm like, if I stopped matching his socks, would he care? Like, would he say, hey, you don't match my socks anymore? I don't feel like you love me because you don't match my socks anymore. I quit doing it. And he is, to this day, this was years ago, we still live in the condo. To this day, he's never once said to me like, hey, you don't match my socks anymore. So what are those little things that you're doing that like you could just stop wasting energy on? Cause I would get mad too. Like it wasn't just physical time. I'm OCD. And so I was like, oh my God, how does he, and like the entire time I'm doing it, I'm like getting flustered.
Just stop doing the laundry altogether.
Actually, he does do most of his laundry now, that we've graduated to most of that. I make my kids do their own laundry now. But yeah, so what are things that you could stop doing? It's a question every quarter of leadership team. We have a quarterly meeting. We all do one of these Delegate and Elevate exercises. Part of it's helpful because it'll actually help us see like, oh shoot, Caleb's been working on something that really should be in Adrian's lane. Or vice versa. And then also we ask that question, what can we stop doing that no one will notice or miss? Oh, Karen.
One thing that I think was slightly mentioned was like the mindset around the first time I filled this out, I had so much shame when I wrote showings down in the don't like category.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my job. Literally, everyone says, oh, I just like houses. And I'm like, no, I actually don't like showing houses. I love meeting with people and all the consultation aspects of things. But the physical showings, I strive to never have to do that at a certain point. And so there was like a reckoning that had to happen for me when I was like, I'm a real estate agent who doesn't like doing showings. Like, but that's okay. Like, I'm still good at my job. And I still have joy when I go do them right now, but it's something I absolutely want to get off my plate. But like, I think there might be things on our list that other agents have shamed us for not doing, or like I've had agents in the past be like, oh, you don't do your own like contract close work
inspections.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, seriously.
What?
And they love that. That's like their thing that's their value proposition, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, I love that for you. And you stay right in that lane and do it.
Yeah.
But like, there's probably stuff on your list that you don't even put on here on the don't like because you might be afraid to admit it to yourself. Like the showings was a real like wake up call for me when I did this.
Yeah, be 100% honest with yourself.
Well, I'm the same way. I have all the things. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but this is what it means to be a real estate agent. And I'm like, and I don't wanna do it.
Yeah.
You need to be a real estate agent. What's a real job? What's a real job? Lead gen for business and meeting people. What else?
getting it from transaction, selling real estate, like, so.
So just
Definitely.
signing the listing or the buyer, right? Signing them, making them official clients. Negotiating,
Yeah.
that's where we make our money, like negotiating. And going closing, and some agents don't even do that.
Yeah.
And then post follow-up, because they can become a client for life. I say showing houses.
Yeah.
Right? And even some agents don't even go to their own closings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions around that, but it's what actually makes you money as a real estate agent. It's conversion and negotiating.
Well, and your business is your business. So like, if you are doing parts of, it's just like life. If you're doing the things that you don't like, or you're not good at, or you don't like and you're good at, eventually you're gonna get to that point where mentally you're like, either A, gonna think that it's not something you wanna do, and you're gonna pivot in a direction that you wouldn't have had to pivot if you were just like, I need to do business the way that I'm built to do business and what I like to do. And therefore, I'm gonna attract the people that are meant for me because I'm doing business the way that I need to do business, and I'm showing up how I wanna show up and how I'm built to show up. So, great. Thanks for that.
I love it. Yeah, can you imagine like if Chick-fil-A went to a mastermind with Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King, and they were like, I think I'm gonna open a fast food chain, but we're not gonna be open on Sundays. Can you imagine how much hate?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure those other companies would have been like, you're out of your mind. You're gonna fail. There's no way you can be a fast food restaurant and be closed on Sundays. And then Chick-fil-A's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Yeah.
My lemonade.
Hold my lemonade.
Latte.
Yeah. Beef squeeze for showing is a huge underutilized tool in our office. So whether you're like Taryn and you're like, I don't want to show another house again if I ever have to, or maybe you're booked, right? You have, life happens and there's a house that your client wants to see, but you are not available when that house has openings to go see it. This is a great app. It's like Uber, but for showing agents. So there's a lot of agents in our office. If you're one of them, maybe you like to show homes, you get paid instantly. So it'll say, hey, can someone show 123 Main Street at 3 o'clock? They put out their price, say it's $30 to $50 a door. You accept it. They will send you the details that you need, you schedule the showing, you show the home to the client, they pay you through the app. Yep.
I'm on it if anybody needs my help.
I will be on it as of today, 2 o'clock.
It's a great resource because there are agents who love to show homes or who just are craving the experience right now. So don't feel guilty when you don't like to do, there's somebody that loves to. There's still a whole company off of the things that we don't like to do and are not good at. Because there's people out there who love to do those things. So that leads me to, I will encourage you, take that Delegate and Elevate exercise and really sit with it. We call them clarity breaks, but take an hour, maybe even two. Out of the office, I try to do mine in the office, I will tell you it does not work. Go to a coffee shop, go to a restaurant, wherever you find peace, where you can just kind of let your brain flow. And really sit with this, because the more you sit there, you'll kind of start to realize the things that maybe your shame or your guilt prevented you from putting down. Be honest. And be happy, like Adrian and I would be happy to meet with you to go over that list so we can start helping you put systems in place. It's pretty difficult to get rid of everything in the lower two quadrants at once. So really just set up a goal for yourself. Can you delegate or systematize or get rid of one thing from the bottom half of the page upward? That's a pretty realistic goal. So one thing from the bottom of the page upward. So the next tool or system, and you might have seen some folks in our internal group here lately about what's called a 411. So I want you to think about one goal that you have for yourself. Does anybody feel comfortable sharing? It doesn't have to be business. Okay, so I have a goal. I have a goal that our company, Keller in Central PA, will sell 1,000 listings in 1 year. Okay? So then every single month, I ask myself, what is the one thing I could accomplish this month that gets me closer to this 1,000 listings? So it's kind of that bowling alley analogy. What is one way, what is the way that I could throw this bowling ball down the alley and just hit one pin? And then, so for some of you, you may have been a part of my 75 card challenge. So that was one of my goals. And my reasoning for this was, well, it's winter. And that's when listings tend to be the lowest, January, February. Mindset tends to be the worst. Like for leadership, we know that that is a rough season. Agents are going through a tough time. They get seasonal depression. They went through the holidays without some of their family members that they just lost in the previous year. Like winter tends to be emotional. And then when your business is struggling, it makes it even more emotional. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this challenge. And we're gonna help uplift their mindset, which will then in turn, I believe, help them get more business. So that was my goal, was to kick off 75 hard. And then what I had to do for the next, I have, you see it's categorized by week 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 week at a time, I would look at my calendar on Sunday and I would be like, okay, what is the one thing based on the capacity that I have available? I already have it filled with other appointments. Based on the capacity that I have available, what's the one thing that I can do this week to get 75 hard challenge kicked off? So week one, that was my video. Then week 2, it was get signups. And I had a goal. We want them to be smart. So I think I had a goal. I really wanted to get 50 people to sign up. And then week 3, we did this pretty quickly. Week 3, I knew that I had to set up my scoreboard. And I wanted to set up scripts to provide everybody that signed up. And then I think week 4 was probably when I started doing like a kickoff. All right, everybody signed up. Here's our first group coaching session. So I want you to think about an annual goal that you have. And you see here that there's a business, financial, personal. I have growth and leadership. Have you ever thought about like the 7, anybody know what like the 7 circles are of life? You can change these, but the way that I look at it is we don't want to just help you reach your business goals. We want to make sure you're building wealth, so that's financial. We want to make sure that whatever personal goal that's important to you, you're also hitting. And then just personal development, it doesn't have to be leadership, but I just believe that if you want to grow in anywhere in your life, you do have to grow yourself. That makes sense? I would pick one goal for each minimum, and I would try to not do more than 3 to 4 goals each. And one goal is perfectly acceptable. You look like you have a comment in there. You're just stretching back there. I love it. Anybody comfortable sharing the goal that they have? And I'll try to help you break it down. Andrew?
Learning Japanese.
All right, okay, so I'm gonna put that under personal, you think?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so you wanna learn Japanese?
I'm actually partnered up with Michaela Braddock, who's learning Spanish, so we're on like a partner,
Get
like
accountability
each
group?
day we have to do it.
And like Duolingo is very like manipulative, like almost like scarily so.
Well, let's back up a minute.
Yeah.
So learn Japanese. Let's make this as smart as possible. What does done look like for you?
Fluent.
Fluent?
Yeah.
So learn Japanese. You want to be able to speak fluently.
Just to be able to get around for our honeymoon.
Okay.
No.
I like that. So you'll be able to navigate on the honeymoon.
So there's a deadline.
Yep. And when is the honeymoon?
It's not planned yet. It's a nerve-wracking undertaking.
So, all right, so we have another goal there, let's just plan it, so navigate the plan 5 blank. Okay, so then a month goal might be, like learn X amount of words. Or how does Duolingo work?
You think-
Can
And,
you test your percentage of fluency, because that might be helpful to like know what percent you've increased and what
Yeah.
percent you're at.
Is there-
What's that?
I think
it's in Duolingo.
I think they do test it, pretty sure.
You just have to do the
yeah,
the thing and that's just
I like that, so maybe
Yeah.
it's like,
where you speak, you actually have to do.
so this is your year. So month might be to score, 20% fluency. And then each week, I wouldn't plan out all 4 weeks at once. That was a fail forward that I did. Because sometimes it's really hard to know what's gonna happen in week 4 until you know how these first weeks went. So the only time that I really will put something ahead is if there's something big that I need to be on my radar. So like when I'm on vacation, I'll put that in, say, week 3, if I'm on vacation week 3, so that way I realize, oh, I might need to do a little bit more in week 1 and week 2 to make up for the fact that I'm out. Other than that, I try to leave it clean. So week 1, you might say like, okay, I'm gonna find an accountability partner. And then week 2 comes around, you found Michaela. And you might say, okay, Michaela, let's get to what's an appropriate level in 1 week.
Or amount of time.
Yeah, I guess
Is it time
it's,
to use?
well, so it's,
I have no idea.
no, it's super weird how it works and it varies, but, getting through like an entire like lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So complete 1 lesson. And, if Michaela was doing the same language as you,
Mhm.
I would maybe start implementing almost like a scripted role play.
Yeah.
So then each week, you're just gonna, what do I have to do this week to get me closer to scoring 20% fluency, so that by the end of the year, I feel confident that I could speak 80% or more fluent in Japanese. That's a good one. I like that.
I feel a lot.
Does that make sense? Does anybody need help working through one? I don't know. Is it the heat or is it the instructor?
I have one, I mean.
Never mind. No, that's okay. Erin?
So mine is, I think a lot of people might have a similar one where you have like a number of closings for a goal.
Yep.
And I get that there's daily activities, weekly activities, monthly, so if you were breaking this down, what I have been doing is just taking it and using I went to business planning last year, so I learned like what I needed to do per week. It was literally a percentage of 1, so a fraction of 1 listing appointment and 1 buyer consult each week to get to my 35 closings a year based on my conversion rates and stuff. So is it safe to say that like, if my monthly is 4 listing appointments, 4 buyer consults and 200 contacts, then my daily or my weekly should just be 1, and 50. Like,
Yeah.
is that's how you break it down?
Yeah.
It's more fun when you see it like that, complete 1 lesson and find an accountability partner. I'm like, I want this side quest.
Yeah. So But you know, you might have a side quest, so you know, like, okay, I wanna close, was it 35?
Yeah.
I wanna have 35 units. But you might also, because you've gone to business planning clinics, you've gone to different events, you might say, well, I think I like the idea of hosting more open houses. So that would be like a rock. So you have your very basic goal, like for me, it's 1,000 listings. But there might be other projects that you wanna integrate into your business to make it that much better.
Mm.
So it's, okay, I wanna set one listing appointment a week and one buyer appointment a week, but as you're reflecting, you might be like, my pipeline, like I'm working it. I'm doing my quarterly calls, I'm sending out my newsletters, but in order to hit that number, I gotta do something more, 'cause I'm not on pace, so I'm gonna implement an open house strategy. And that's where your side quests come in.
Okay, so they're actually already out there, I just haven't recorded them, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's what's fueling it right now.
and what's nice about the 411 is if you write down all your side quests, you might start to realize that you have too many. And so we recommend no more than 2 to 3 rocks order. So rocks are projects that you can complete in 90 days. So maybe if you're trying to revamp an entire open house strategy, like rock one or first quarter rock might not be to implement the whole strategy, but it might be some research and development. Like decide what is my open house plan and system gonna look like. Just keep that in mind. But that's what this helps you do, is it helps you realize that between your delegate and elevate exercise, you wanna make sure that most things that you're doing are in the top quadrants as much as possible. And then secondly, you wanna be making sure that you're prioritizing what moves the bowling ball towards the pins and not machine called pinball, and not be a pinball where you're going everywhere. Cause if you're honest and you literally write down, like start with week 1 and write down all the to-dos that in your head you think you're gonna do this week, it starts to get real for most of you. Like for most of you, it's like, there's no way, unless I work until 10 PM every single night, that I'm gonna be able to get all this done. So then it's going back and just reprioritizing, like, okay, what projects do I need to work on this month that are actually doable and going to get me closer to that goal?
Do more of
More of what?
the paper.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
One thing that I will, some other tips that I'll give, is my 411. If something does pop up, the urgent and important that you have to do, I add it to my 411 so I don't lose it. That's like my safe space. I use an electronic version and I keep my tab open every day. And that's how we train the whole leadership team, like add it to your 411 so you don't forget it. But that way you're not in that, it's urgent and important and I'm gonna stop everything I'm doing to work on it. You know that you've written it down and that we have to-do time blocks in our calendars. And when we get to that to-do time block, then we'll clean up the list. So that just helps with the interruptions.
So I did find templates and stuff from Google Sheets. Like I have a weekly planner here that I sit on Sundays and plan out the week. And, you know, it changes every day. Like if by 2 o'clock I'm not getting a X amount of things done, I'll look and see the priorities, what I can push to the next day. But they do provide a bunch of things like content calendars and things like that that are all free templates. I'll see if I can find the original thing you said it to you.
Yeah, I can add it out.
Yeah, you can do monthly, you can do emails, you can do social media, you can do a bunch of different things, and it's all free on Google Sheets. And you can customize it however you want.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, your social media should be on your 411. I'm trying to think. What else am I doing? Higher precision, that's what Chris is
I have to find it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Any questions? I feel like I've talked a lot. I'm gonna give you one last thing. So I know I promised you I want to talk about time blocking. So I'm not, but I am gonna show you some other tools you can use if you don't like time blocking. So once you have your 411 done for the week, you do want to make sure you have space and time to do it. So for me, I love time blocking, so I have to-do time blocks in my calendar where I do kind of the little more task-oriented things. But if it's a bigger project that's gonna take me more time, like lead gen, that I have time blocked in my calendar specifically, so that way I know from this time to this time, I have to work on this piece because it's time consuming. And it's not easy for me to just put it anywhere. For me, that's also like the gym. I have to work out in the morning, because if I don't work out in the morning, it will not get done later on, as I continually like myself about. So another couple apps that I have here, my husband has ADHD. And the system that works for him is Todoist. So he has a calendar for obviously like his photography appointments and his video appointments. But he doesn't like seeing all that white space filled up with to-do time blocks the way that I do. It overwhelms him. So he puts his 411 to-dos and those other little random things that life throws at you. I will literally tell him, please take out the trash to the curb on your to-do list. And he does it. So that's his system. It's an app on your phone. I think it's free. So that's
Free
what
and
works.
paid version.
Yeah, so that's what works for him. So he puts his 411 weekly goals on there, and then he knows, like, when he checks it off on the Todoist app, he gets that like dopamine hit, and then he'll get on a roll and he'll just knock them all out. So that's who he is. So Todoist for those that are neurospicy and might need something else than the Brittany Guiles calendar method. Also Notion, is another good app that I've seen out there, that has different templates, content calendars that you could use. Canva has a lot of printable options for those that just love pen and paper. And then Chris actually taught in his Google class prior to this Google Tasks. So it does utilize a calendar, but that way it's more of a task system. You can place it in specific time blocks if you want, or you just leave it on the side and you can check it off as you go throughout the day. And I do use my 411 in that sense. If I have an appointment that cancels, now I got 30 minutes open in my calendar that I didn't plan for, I just go to my 411, or maybe in your case, your Todoist app. All right, what can I knock out in 30 minutes that's on this list? So that's what works for me. The goal for you today, take that Delegate Elevate exercise, really spend some time on it, finish it. Do your 411s. I encourage you to post them in the internal Facebook group with Karen on Sundays. That accountability changes everything. Because once you put it out there, you're like, well, now I have some of this. Because all of my.
Karen's gonna check in on me. And when is a good time for checking is exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, when do we check? Friday? Cause I'm done Friday. Like
Thursday would be good, cause in my mind.
Oh, you need
Thursday,
like a push to like keep going.
Okay, where are you at? How's it going?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I have one more day to like get things done.
I think it all depends. A lot of my consults are on Thursdays and Fridays, so we often are just checking on how you do the week before.
Mhm.
Or how are you doing this week? You only have 3 more tasks and 1 day left in the week. And I would say that you're on pace unless tomorrow's crazy.
Yeah.
So it really just depends.
What about like Friday morning? So then you still have the day, you have to probably just be really.
I like that. Yeah. Well, and that's a
My
good,
creative energy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah, like if you're like, I'm gonna take today off, then you look at your 401 and you're like, ooh, I didn't earn it this week, right? Like I didn't do half of what I said I was going to do.
Mhm.
You know, you might need to work a little.
Do you guys have power out?
I mean, I'm just individual, I don't know, I do read down in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you did, maybe, just an idea, if you did a check-in as a power hour, it's just like, okay, you're still, all right, we got an hour on Friday, we're gonna push on that, and we all go into a Zoom room, and we're all working on whatever we need to work on, we don't have to have our volume on or anything, but I find that that's because I'm neurodivergent, that I just need a spotter. I just need someone sitting there.
Body double.
I need a body double, and I need to be able to just go, okay, they're working, and it holds me accountable because I'm actually know that I'm going to do the do.
I'm not just saying that I should do the do, and that's where I get stuck in the lab way more often than going out into the world. So I need to go from lab to out and,
No, I love that.
yeah.
We have several agents that's why they come in, because they know that when they're here, they'll actually do the to-dos versus when they're home. So it just depends on what works for you. John Henry, our one-on-ones, he comes into my office and he's like, I need to work on this, and he works for 30 minutes and then.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie that, but he focuses, because you know, he has to.
Yeah.
Like, so. Yeah, whatever works. So, I love that. Awesome, okay. Adrian, you can just trick me. Because she's gonna be here today. If you see her this week, if we're some love, I don't know if you saw, but her stepmother passed away. And it has been a little hard on her, so just give her some extra love. This might be one way you can show love if you don't like hugs and feelings. She would love it if you submit the feedback survey. So just remember, she doesn't get graded on the rating, because that's not her job. Her job is to get as many surveys as possible, because if we only get 5 people to fill it out when 50 people show up, the sample size isn't big enough to really get an understanding of what went well, what didn't. So we need as many of you to fill out these surveys as much as possible, so we can start to see trends. What classes do you like? Maybe it's the time. You know, maybe you hate the 11 a.m. classes, they're too early. Maybe it's how long the class, whatever your feedback is, let us know, because the more data we have, the better we can make Education Tuesdays and all of our events. Fair? Thank you all.
Before anybody leaves,
Oh,
I need like 3 or 4 people to do the testimonial on camera.
and you will be on social media.
And you
No
will be on social
pressure.
media. No pressure. Anybody?
Or was it for the class?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Everyone can walk around and stuff like that, it's okay, I got like,
Oh, it's not like, oh, right here?
oh, yeah, right
Maybe I should share, so part of our.
Can we do it in Japanese?
Goal. We have to track culture myths, and in order to do that, we feel that in social media, so. All is functional.
I like your office magnet.
Oh, thanks.
Wait, what am I talking about?
So I'm not just gonna, ask you like 2 questions.
Oh, you're gonna ask. Okay.
Oh, I'm really good for my thoughts.
So, how did? I know.
No, but I agree with it. You can talk about it.
It was very. I want organic. All right. How did you feel about phase,
Yeah, totally.
Brittany, what's your class called? Chaos Closing. How did you feel about today's, training about chaos closing?
I love the clarity that I left with, so I've got my Delegate Elevate tool, and I filled out some things that I said to y'all had late, and free up some time, so I got a lot of clarity.
What were, about today's training?
I think firstly, like getting honest with yourself about what you get off your plate is important, and like really think around that, even if it's compassionate, should you as a real estate agent, when I say should. Probably also looking into the system that I haven't considered before, that have AI, and we may help you automate some things too. Another public.
Thank you, Karen.
Yep.